The crowd inside the small-town civic center was buzzing with laughter and chatter. It was supposed to be just another light-hearted evening, a charity event filled with jokes, speeches, and a few casual performances. Nobody expected anything extraordinary. The atmosphere was playful, and the people had come for a night of fun, not a night of tears. Senator John Kennedy had been invited as a guest speaker. Known for his wit, humor, and sharp one-liners, most assumed he'd deliver another round of clever remarks to keep everyone entertained. He walked on stage with his usual charming grin, waving at familiar faces in the audience. But what came next no one could have predicted. As he finished a quick, humorous speech about the value of community and giving back, someone from the audience shouted playfully, "Hey John, why don't you sing us a song?" The room erupted in laughter. Everyone thought it was a joke. John Kennedy, the tough and witty politician, singing? It seemed ridiculous. Kennedy chuckled, shaking his head. "Now y'all don't want me to scare off half the audience with my voice," he replied, and the crowd laughed even harder. But then, he paused. His face softened, his eyes looked down for a moment, and he took a deep breath. "You know," he said slowly, "I'm no singer, that's the truth. But there's a song I carry in my heart, one that's always kept me steady when life felt too heavy. If you'll forgive my voice, I'll sing it for you." The room fell silent. The playful atmosphere turned into one of quiet anticipation. Nobody was laughing anymore. John Kennedy took the microphone, no music, no instruments, just his voice. He began softly, almost like a prayer. His song wasn't about politics, money, or fame. It was about faith. The words spoke of holding on when the world feels broken, of finding strength in God when everything else is falling apart, and of remembering that hope is never truly gone as long as you believe. At first, the audience listened in stunned silence, not knowing how to react. But as his voice grew stronger with each verse, something happened. Mothers held their children tighter. Veterans in the back row bowed their heads. A woman quietly wiped tears from her eyes, remembering her husband who had passed. A young man struggling with addiction in the corner clenched his fists, as if the words were reaching inside and pulling him out of the darkness he had been drowning in. By the time Kennedy reached the final lines, his voice cracked with raw emotion. He wasn't performing anymore. He was testifying. Sharing a piece of his soul. When the last note faded, the room was utterly still. No applause, no laughter, just silence, heavy with the weight of what had just been shared. And then, slowly, the tears came. People who had walked in expecting to laugh walked out holding on to something much deeper, hope. Kennedy set the microphone down and looked out at the audience, his voice trembling but steady. "I may not be a singer.